Hello, everyone. I just want to give you kind of some of my thoughts on some spark plugs I just recently picked up. Um, it's for my 2011 Acura TSX 2.4 liter. And so the reason why I changed the spark plugs was my car turned about 100,000 miles about a few weeks ago. And I just replaced some spark plugs in my boat motor, and it was wonderful. The boat motor ran so much better. So then, hey, I thought for preventative maintenance, I thought I could do the same thing for my 2011 Acura TSX. So I picked these up on eBay, and that's probably the first thing I should have known first. These NGK Honda, and it shows here, this is the box. It shows genuine parts. Um, it looked real, at least to me. It says made in Japan. And so I put these in about 2 weeks ago. Um, and they worked, initially worked okay. On the first test drive, it was kind of odd though. It kind of sputtered, showed an engine code, and then it disappeared for the last 2 weeks. Um, and so about 2 days ago, about 2 weeks later, I had a bunch of engine code issues, and I took it into AutoZone to run a diagnostics, and they said that there was a cylinder misfire in cylinder one. And so it said actually it may have been the ignition coil. And so I went ahead and ordered 4 new ignition coils for it, popped those in just today, and lo and behold, after a test drive, the same thing happened. And so I was kind of scratching my head, thinking that I might have to bring it into the dealership. And um, and what they found out was that the spark plugs that I just put in 2 weeks ago, which I should have probably figured out, um, were fake. And so how I knew that is when I put the old spark plugs in, I took out the car ran fine. And so, anyways, so this is the fake one that, and also I verified that with NGK USA too, how to identify that is fake. And this is that one I just picked up at AutoZone just today. Um, and just so you know, the price wise, they sold this on eBay. I actually saw something similar on Amazon as well. Four of these for $25 shipped. And these at AutoZone were $14.99 a piece. And so here's one from AutoZone. So this one here, it does have a little bit of wear. You can see here. This has got about 2 weeks of wear on there. This is the one from AutoZone. And if you look, I'm not sure if this is kind of bright here. They actually look really similar. They have the same numbers. They're the same height. They even have the dimple on the top. But it's really in the fine details. And I'm going to take away this light here so maybe you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, I think that might be better here. The first thing when I called up NGK, and again, this is going to be really hard to see, so I'm just going to kind of call it out here. But on here, this started with the letter C as in Charlie, 52, and I think the letter is E. So C52E. When I called up NGK, they immediately said, yep, that is a counterfeit. And so on the OEM one, the one I just got at AutoZone, that shows M87, and it's some sort of weird letter. I think it might be a 6, but it starts with the letter M. And so that was probably the telltale that this was a counterfeit, that it started with the letter C. They say it's for the Chinese market, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's still a real one. Another thing that you can kind of look out for is when I pulled the 4 of these out, 2 of these, you can see this one kind of coming off here, 2 of these crush washers pretty much came off and almost fell off. So that's another sign that that it could be counterfeit. You see here, kind of roll that off. This is a brand new one. This one's not going anywhere, this crush washer. So that's another sign that that it's counterfeit. Another sign is you see the lettering here. The lettering on this fake one is actually a lot darker than the real one. Oddly, it almost looks a little bit better. You've heard on some sites that, the fake ones have bad alignment, that whole thing. This one is slightly off, but, again, it's really hard to tell without having them side by side. And so oddly, the real one has a slightly lighter blue color to it. But another sign that this one was fake is if you look closely at the collar here, and right here, so I mean this spot here, there are some lines that are pretty much vertical, straight up and down vertical on the fake one. On the real one, on the non-fake one, you see here, these are on a diagonal. So that's another little small detail that, again, the counterfeiters didn't figure out. Not to say that they're gonna not figure it out in the future and copy all the things here, but this is kind of a sign that gotta be really careful buying things off of eBay or Amazon, really. Even if they have really good reviews. This one had excellent reviews. You know, the resale actually had sold 400 sets of these things, you know, and he told me that he's been having problems the last couple of months in the chain supplier, so he did return my money. But, you know, again, I thought it was the real deal. You know, it had a really nice looking box, you know, obviously made it look right, you know, but that wasn't the case. And so hopefully that helps you guys out. Oh, one more thing too. If you look at the actual electrodes, they actually look pretty similar. Someone had said in another post that this electrode here was thicker than the original, which is actually quite a bit thinner. So that's another thing to look for. But from my eye, it's pretty darn hard to tell, you know, what is thicker and what is thinner. So I mean, the heads look relatively similar. The body is actually, when this one was new, looked actually pretty the correct color as well. So, so those are some of the fine details, small details. Long story short, you probably want to buy something like this if you want to be sure, from like an AutoZone or Riley's, you know, that type of local store, versus buying online on eBay or Amazon. So hopefully that saves you some time. I end up buying new ignition coils, just so you know, that I didn't need, but oh well. I mean, I was probably going to replace that at some point. But lesson learned, and hopefully this helps anybody out there. Thanks. Bye.